What are some things that threaten our young children? How do we respond to these in an age-appropriate manner?
I would say input threatens your children, and it's either going to be positive or negative. And, there's nothing neutral. It's either going to be positive or negative. And so I would say that a great threat to young kids nowadays is the lack of a filter in your lives, in your home, away from the things that they shouldn't be exposed to. What are the things they shouldn't be exposed to? Your basis is the Word of God. Your basis isn't what your mother says. Your basis isn't what Oprah says. It's what does the Word of God teach.
So do you have those little latches on things? Certain cupboards that you want to keep them out of. Well, what you're doing is you're practicing something which years ago wasn't always done. There were households where there were poisons under the sink, including the house that I grew up in, and I could have, but I didn't. But we're so conscious of protecting physically. That's fine. That's great. And again, I grew up in an era where my friend's dad pickup truck, and we'd all pile in the back of the pickup truck and go somewhere. Okay, so we could look at that now. We could say, wow, that wasn't smart. That wasn't smart at all. I can't even conceive of that. Yeah, but today we have the opposite problem on the moral and spiritual levels, because there are people who wouldn't think of exposing their kids to physical dangers, who every single day allow their children to just watch whatever is on television, to change the channels, to go to the internet and go in there and look at whatever is there. And I was reading, and this relates to the question, I was reading the other day that years ago, the average age at which a child first was exposed to pornography was age 13. Now, even that, should sort of take our breath away. The average age now, statistically, is age 8. Now imagine parents who are raising their children and letting them have laptop computers or desktop computers in the privacy of their own room, and then expecting, boy or girl, but just from a male perspective, expecting that boy to not look at pornography on the internet is absolutely no different than buying thousands of printed, magazines with the pictures in them, piling them up in his closet and saying, don't look at those. Of course he's going to look at those. And so part of this is don't be naive, thinking not simply that it's out there, but it's going to come into your home unless you take very calculated, careful measures to prevent it from coming in to your home.